Welcome to class number 12. We've just finished our Chazara on the previous sugya, and now we're moving on to our next sugya. We started it very, very briefly last week, and even more briefly 2 weeks ago, but now we're actually going to sink our teeth into it. And the very first thing that we do with a new sugya, remember we have 5 basic stages when we come in, we meet a new sugya. I don't remember what handout it is that I kind of wrote them down, but Andrew, I see you flipping through it. You go back a little bit more, a little bit forward. You have like 5 stages that we go through, and more.
Page 16.
No. Oh, let me see. Yeah, right, good. The first thing, this is page 16. Right, the first thing we do is we identify function words. We're not actually trying to understand the words yet. We're just looking for words that jump out to us as function words, like a word like how, like what, or things like that, or source words. Right? We all remember there are certain words which are source words. So identify function words, create a logical sequence, create a flow chart, insert the content, and then second level thinking. So what we're going to do today is our next handout. I think I might have given this out already last week to some of you, because I see that I'm missing a few of my page 20. I think I kind of slipped it to some of you last week, but I don't think we actually started working on it. You have? Alex, do you have this? Here, pass it down.
Sure.
Anyone else not have page number 20?
No, I've got it.
You have it?
I've got it.
Okay, this is just from last week. Okay, so first let's identify the sugya. Okay, what we did last week also, we explained how we get from the end of our sugya to the next one, right? If everyone look for a second at the next sugya, we're on Kaftet Talmud Aleph, we're in the same place exactly. Thank you. And we go to exactly where you just finished reading from. And what are the words that it continues with? What is the next after the colon? What are the words?
Lemula.
Lemula menalan. The word lemula is not a statement, it's just a quote, right? This is a word we just read. In the previous sugya, or the sugya we just finished, there was the quote of the Brita that tried to prove that it is only the father who has the obligation to do mitzvot towards his son, and not the mothers. And he used the word, and it brought 5 or 6 different things, right? It says, Hav chayav, the father is obligated for his son, limula, lifdota, lilamdot Torah, right? First one is limula, which literally means to circumcise him. Okay, it's not a sentence. It's to circumcise him. So the Gemara here is starting to circumcise him from where? Okay, meaning meaning to circumcise him. From where do you know this? So what is the question? We ended up at the end of last class. We said, are we happy? Do we feel that the Gemara last sugya ended on a final note and are ready to move on to a whole new topic? We said no. Why? What seems to be open?
We brought up a whole bunch
all kinds of things that, all kinds of things. Well, like for instance, I think Andrew, you asked last week, right? Well, you said the Mishnah says all, and all you did is you brought proof about 6, right?
it was me, but yeah.
Okay. Well, whoever it was, it's a good question, right? What? Someone said, right? The Mishnah says all the mitzvot, but you just brought a proof about 6 of them. Does that mean that these are the only 6 obligations a parent has to their child? Or just are these the only ones you can bring a proof of? Or maybe this proof is enough to prove that there's 6 and therefore all of them? That's an excellent question, which is a very excellent question to be asked. We asked, what are other questions that we asked that we feel that are still open for discussion? Validate. You just said this. We have to get out of the mindset that just because, someone quotes a source to us, like, well, if the rabbi said it, then okay. The Gemara has no, absolutely not. You said this, you just brought a quote. And I'm saying, where do you know this from? It's as if we're having a discussion and someone says to you, oh, I saw somewhere it says 1, 2, 3. You're going to question the logic of it. Saying, well, where did you get this from? I would like to see it. Doesn't make any sense to me. If it does make sense, fantastic. But it almost sounds arbitrary. Think about the quote. The father is obligated, is obligated to his son to circumcise him, to wed him off, teach him a trade. Where are you taking this from? Right? Can anyone here think of a source, a proof of the fact that a person has to teach their son a trade in the Torah? Are you familiar with such a mitzvah? So, so just because the Brit said it, so what? So the Gemara's
even going further than that, if we were to find a source, does it say that it's only the father?
Good, excellent. So those are the two questions that the Gemara is going to investigate. One, how do you know the father is obligated to do it? And two,
how do you
know the mother
is not?
Because you tried to bring this Braita as a proof. Now again, remember, the Braita is not discussing our sugya. The Braita is an external source. Someone's importing into our sugya to try to support their claim. But the Braita itself doesn't say the father and only the father is obligated to do the following 5 things. That's not what the Braita said. All the Braita said is a father is obligated to do the following things to his son. It didn't say, oh, and by the way, a mother is not. Okay? So therefore I can come and say, wait a second, you've imported, we just kind of assumed that that's what it meant. But the Braita was not discussing, again, the Braita is not discussing our sugya. It's a quote that someone just imports, and they're saying, wait a second, it doesn't say that. So A, from where do you know that a father is obligated to do these things? And B, from where do you know that the mother is not? That's the investigation that's going to take place in the next 2 pages. Because we're going to talk about it about Brit Milah, about Pidyon HaBen, and each one of them is going to ask both those questions and get into several conversations about it.
And then is it going to expound on the fact that how these 6 encompass all?
No.
So it's not going to answer the first part of what we were discussing.
No, we came up with a question the Gemara did not think of. Either, as we said last week, either because it's not nearly as good of a question as we think, or the Gemara just didn't think of asking it. And we thought of it on our own. And
the Gemara asks a question if there's no final answer.
What? Yes.
Is there going to be a final answer?
On that question, the Gemara doesn't discuss it. The later commentators do. So I'll have to go and find out what they say and relay it.
So David had a good question.
What?
David had a really good question. So it's possible for the Gemara to ask a question but not answer it.
Absolutely. Or to ask a question and to try to answer it, not be happy with the answer, reject the answer, and at the end of the day come and say, we don't have an answer. Yeah. Sometimes it will say, for instance, there's a very, very famous phrase. I'll get my markers. It's not uncommon at all. It's a known phenomenon. There's a word called, this will go into our general knowledge bank about Gemara, called, I'm sure you've heard the term, called teiko. Anyone hear this phrase ever?
Yeah.
Let me do that. Teiko.
Take a bell?
What?
Teiko.
Teiko. It's funny because in modern Hebrew, teiko means like a tie. Like when kids play ball and it's ends in a tie, it's like teiko. They don't know where it comes from. It's actually any time there's a question where we don't have an answer to. Usually it's when we're debating between 2 options, and the rules that were given to us are not. For instance, give an example of a famous one where it says that if something is found, we have two fields, I guess. 2 fields that one field is mine, one field is yours, and something is found right on the, if it's found closer to my side, then it's mine, closer to your side. What happens if it's found right in the middle, and exactly in the middle? Who does it go to? Well, teiko, I don't know, there's no really, it's actually not the best example for a different reason, but I think there's all kinds of questions where the rule that we said, for some reason there's a specific scenario that can't be applied to. And the answer is teiko. Now, teiko is a really cool word. Why? It doesn't mean anything. Okay, it's an acronym. Okay? It's an acronym to the following words. Tishbi, Yetaretz, Kushiyot, Ube'aya. Tishbi refers to Eliyahu HaTishbi. Tishbi is, for lack of a better phrase, it is Eliyahu Hanavi's last name. It's not his actual last name, but is one of his nicknames. So Tishbi refers to Eliyahu Hanavi. Yitaret, meaning he will bring a terutz. He will bring a resolution, okay, an answer. to kushiyot, to all attacks, and be'ayot, problems or questions. Basically coming and saying, we have no way to solve this. When Eliyahu Hanavi comes, when? Well, at some point, then we'll ask him and he'll tell us the answer, because that's one of his jobs, to make sure that all things that were unknown or that were safek, where we were doubtful about, that's one of his jobs, is to answer those things. So teko means we don't know and we have no way of actually answering this question. It's a common concept in Gemara.
You were right.
Which was what? What?
Mashiach comes.
What? No. Eliyahu Navi and Mashiach are not the same thing. Eliyahu Navi, we understand according to Nevuah that Eliyahu Navi predates the coming of Mashiach.
So in a situation like
whether they are actual, whether Eliyahu Navi refers to an actual personality or is it a historical phenomena, we will leave for a different time. Yeah.
So do we go with then the Mishnah that says that all the mitzvot are not obligated on the
Yes,
other?
we have an excellent question that I do not know the answer to, which is there's a big hole here, which is you've only proven. And the Gemara is not satisfied yet. The Gemara is not even satisfied yet. You actually have proven it, okay? But you claim to have proven a big rule by bringing 6 specific things, okay? So that is an open question, which I have to do homework about. But the Gemara is starting from something simpler, which is I want to check your proof, okay? And therefore it starts with Lemulo, quote, this, Menalan, from where do I know that the father is obligated to? And now you're ready to continue, okay? So go ahead. What we're doing is, this is as far as the structure of the sugya, it is a fairly simple structure, and therefore we're going to do we're going to do a bit of a leap here. We're going to try to do all 3 at the same time. Meaning, first you're going to do the function words, okay? And go through it and look for function words and write them down, okay? Then, based on what we know that the different function words do, we're going to write what the Gemara is doing, and then we're going to see if we have a logical sequence, and we'll fix it when we see that there's stuff missing or there's something that doesn't make sense. Okay, so go ahead.
So where do we stop?
You're not right. You're starting from Lemulo.
Yeah, but where does it go to?
Until the next colon.
Does it go until Liptito?
No. That's the next, right? David, Lifdata is the next one that's going to investigate. Okay? It's obviously done with talking about Brit Milah to a satisfactory level. We'll see, yes, no. That's okay. Next one. You said that a father is obligated and a mother is not obligated to do Pidyon Ben. Lifdata Milah. How do we know?
And just before that.
Yeah. Because the topic of what the Gemara is doing now is dissecting that quote that you brought. Okay? Finish the section with Limula. What was after Limula? And then it's going to go to the next one. So I'll start off in the first one just to make sure we all remember what we're doing. So what is the first function word of the Sugya? Yeah, there's beforehand. Menalan. Right? The word menalan is a function word. What is the Gemara doing with this word? Ask. What? A she'ela, right? Menalan means from where? So I purpose using the phrase, what is the Gemara doing? Because that is what we are trying to do in this stage of our learning. Not to figure out what the Gemara is saying, rather to figure out what the Gemara is doing. The biggest step that so many people just completely miss.
Right, yeah.
Okay, we're not going to do this also.
So it's an answer. So there's an answer in the question.
Yeah.
Where do I know?
Proof, isn't it? Right? It's a proof.
It's a proof.
Telling you that it's
Right, it's a
Because you could have a proof after
You see there's the word in his function words. The right, which is you're proving.
Okay, so you are right to be debating whether dichtiv is a raya or a tshuva. What does logic tell you? Tshuva. It's a phrasing that 9 out of 10 times is going to be a raya because dichtiv means as it is written, as it is written, which is a phrasing that you usually use for proof. But obviously there's nothing to prove here yet. It is a proof because you're proving that the father is obligated. But it's an answer.
Isn't it proof?
Again, there's not Torah Moshe Sinai the way that the phrases I'm using to structure it. But as long as you understand the correlation, there's a question, and it's being answered. It's being answered with a phrase that could be understood as a proof or as an answer. So fine, either it's answering the question min alan, or it's proving the fact that the father is obligated to do it. So you understand what I'm saying? It could be, you can call it a re'ayah because it's answering the bigger question, which is, how do you know that a father is obligated? Or it could be answering the little question of minalan, from where do you know? So it's a tshuva raya. If this were a test, you would get full points for either option.
So it doesn't matter how you.
As long as you understand that it responds.
Yeah, it's a response, right. Okay.
That to the she'elah, and we're.
It seems to me like a proof could be an answer in a number of situations. Like you bring the proof to answer.
No, but usually a proof is after you have an answer, okay, or after you've said something definitive, right?
We've done our test.
Meaning after you say not only definitive, after you've responded to something, you want to support it. What's a proof? Proof is I want to support something which I've already said. Over here, you haven't said anything yet.
But we have in the sugya above. We're still.
Yeah, but this is not responding to the sugya above. This is responding to the question min Allah. That's why I said if you understand it to be responding to the question min Allah, then it's tshuva. And then the fact that it's as it's written is just not exactly, but if you understand it, that it's taking into account everything, they say, no, it's proving. Because again, a proof is going to come after something, it's going to come to support something. But you haven't said anything that needs support yet. Only now you're responding. Okay? Okay, now I have to do this myself also.
I think that's it. I don't know. But
there's got to be, I'm sure there's one between there and the 15.
I forgot to mention, those of you who are interested, I have cheat sheets. Cheat sheets.
Translations?
With translations of keywords that I think will help you on the way. So, if you want it,
you better give it.
Okay, that's 5 points off the next quiz. If you use a cheat sheet, you get, it's like here. But the reason I'm hesitant of giving it, not only because I want you guys to battle it on your own, but because I'm afraid of you using it for the wrong purpose. Remember, we're not focusing on understanding what the Gemara is trying to say. We're trying to focus on what it's trying to do. But in this case, for instance, the word heicha is tricky, and people are debating about it. That's what caused me to decide to give it to you. The word heicha means in a case where.
In case where people they do Brit.
So it's the plate, the thin, who does, who has to do the bris, right? So the one who's not doing the bris, he can appoint someone to do it.
If the father doesn't do it, in case where here it is the base din's got to do it. Does that mean the base din has to appoint somebody, or the father appoints?
No, talk about the father isn't doing it. So, I mean, he's not doing it, not only he's not himself doing it, he's not taking care of it. So the Beit Din has a responsibility to make sure that this child's going to have a Brit Milah, even if the father is not taking care of it. It is our responsibility as the community or the Beit Din to make sure that this kid has a Brit.
By the way, there's another function.
Okay, got it. So basically, the period after
we just learned
basically it's starting a new thought, which is basically a maybe. It's like a new
It's a proof.
Yeah.
And by the way,
In the case, maybe it's sugar as well.
Do you guys agree?
Pleasure.
I'm just trying to figure it out.
Yes. And does it then the Beit Din?
I mean,
Yes. Yes.
it's like the
Humble.
You're right.
Zachem or Zachar. They have to do
Correct
for
instinct.
all the men.
I've been eavesdropping. Listen, you get used to eavesdropping. Well, people don't notice.
In the case, the
Acquired skill.
It's a main
dinner.
No, but it's not the obligation of the mother.
So basically starting over.
Alex, wait, David, how do you know that? What led you to believe it? What led you to understand that even though it's not a function of what it's clear, how did you, you're right, how did you come to that conclusion?
because it's not a direct, it's not a question and it's not a direct attack. So it seems that.
But why, you're right, but what made you think that it's a new stage?
It seems only tangentially related to what was before.
Right, and what's another way to know it?
Seems to be accepting the part before.
Right. Okay. So that would be an intuitive way to do it. So yes. What's another way? How you know it's studying something new? Because what is it immediately followed by? A source or an answer. So what is being answered? If you just gave an answer. So why would you be giving another answer? Obviously you've missed something. Now you picked it up intuitively, but if you haven't picked up intuitively, or you're questioning your intuition, so it's like, wait a second, why would there be a proof after a proof? The only reason you have to prove after another proof is in the middle there was something that necessitated some additional support or an answer. But that's why I said, the only thing that could seem like it could be a stop is
I was looking for something in between there because it sounds like I'm like, I don't see any other besides that. Hey, was there something else?
So exactly. So that means a new stage. Now, if let's say you know, Andrew, that okay, it's obviously a new stage, you don't know what it is. So fine. So meaning it doesn't seem to be. This as we go along, you collect more words and you suddenly realize what is a function, what it isn't. But the fact that it's not a function word, it's not a clear question word. There are certain words which are clear question words. Why, how, when, where, who, right? Just all the W's. And there are certain clear words which are kushiyot, which as you go along, you'll identify the meaning, just like in English. You identify as like certain words like as questions, and as so if it's not that, and it's not that. The default is it's just a statement. Someone just started saying something, which is tangentially related. Just started. You didn't notice, but someone else just piped up and just said something. That's a main one.
You can say it's a question.
I mean, I would say
no,
maybe not.
Because it could have easily meaning like someone. It's almost as if someone went to trouble to not like phrase it. It should have been vehecha de lo ma'ale, and what's the case? What happens when he doesn't do it? When the father doesn't do it? But someone wasn't looking for an answer. Someone knew this already. Someone would only ask that if they're not sure. Whoever is speaking here feels that he knows it and just wants to. Since we're on the topic, I'd like to add something new. And when a father doesn't do it himself, Beit Din has to do it because it says da 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 da.
The conceived is there. Then the conceived becomes Raya.
It's just part of the Neymar. It's just part of the state.
When it comes to the same situation again.
In the case where blah blah blah. Yeah.
Then the law.
Yeah, the next one is
she from where do we know the law but she's not obligated Tichtev it says Tichtev ציווה אותו
So the second one, the
that said Hashem in the Torah it says that Hashem commanded Oto meaning Moshe Oto him the Lord time not her so Hashem commanded Moshe to circumcise his deadness but she did it anyway she wasn't commanded it says Hashem was going to kill Moshe because he had fulfilled the promise to him, not to her. The Lord said,
Okay. Let's give another 2-3 minutes.
Rabbi Spitz, what does Ayehu mean?
Ihi.
From where?
Ayehu or Ihi? Ihu, him.
From where do we know?
Right, you have the word Ihi and Ihu there? Ihi and Ihu?
Yes. I don't see Ihi yet.
Wait. Where are you? Let's see.
So, I'm at the second Ayehu.
Ihu limim al-nafshe. Right. Ihu is him. Ihu limim al-nafshe himself. Nafshe, yeah. Nafshe is not, it's not female. Nafshe is his soul or himself.
Every place where it says
He commanded who?
When Hashem commanded him,
it is the rules.
He told him to
immediately
commanded
the Torah.
Guys, remember, you're trying to focus more so on the function words. If you start translating every single word, then you're trying to actually understand the text, and you're forgetting what you're actually looking for, the function words. I know it's hard. It's hard to try to disregard the the words that are there, but we want to try to kind of find the function words. Okay, we're gonna try to bring it in, and it's okay because this little sugya also divides into two distinct parts, right? Because as we know, it's going to have two things it's going to try to investigate. One, how do we know that the father is obligated, and how do we know that a woman is not? So we're going to deal with the first half. Okay. Okay. So someone help me out here. Let's see. We're going to do block. Okay. First, okay. Someone walk me through the function words. First function word, menalat, as we said. Okay, and what function does it serve? A she'elah. Very good. We're not discussing what the she'elah is. Next function word. Yiftiv. And is what? We said could be. We said tshuva or ra'aya. Okay, either one works here. Meaning in this case it seems to be serving as a tshuva, but that phrasing of dichtiv is as it says, usually is a proof. Okay? Next function word. Heicha. Why? Why do you think that is a function word? You are correct. Wait. Before that, what function is it serving?
Seems like it seems to be a raya, a proof.
A proof. Why a proof?
Because it's expounding on the.
No. That is not because that requires you to do something that we don't officially know yet. We don't know what it's saying. But the word heicha means, what do we say the word heicha means? How do I translate it?
And in a case.
And in a case where? How would that sound like a, and how would that be a raya? Or why would we need a raya here? Especially if this is a tshuva / raya, okay? Why would we have a raya here? A proof. What needs to be proved here? We just brought a quote,
it's
right?
Expounding on that.
But why do we need to expound? We just brought a quote to prove something. So you're right that it's a separate stage. So what else could it be? It's a memra. It's something. It's just starting a new point. We had a question. We answered it. That's it. We're done.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
If we have this situation, or a situation similar to this, where you have a she'ela and then a teshuva, is it safe to say that in the Gemara we're not going to continue talking about a topic if we've already answered the question?
Well, okay. So here's the thing. I've been saying for a long time that the difference between a she'ela and a kushya is a she'ela is innocent. It's just trying to gather more information. Okay. I lack all the information about whatever we're discussing. I need more info. Whereas a kushya is not innocent. A kushya is coming from a place of knowledge. A she'ela is coming from a place of ignorance. I don't know something. Please tell me more. Okay. And the kushya is coming from a place of knowledge. I know something, and therefore you are wrong with what you just said, either because it's a source or because of logic. Okay. That's a kushya. And the kushya is saying you are wrong. And then a Tirutz rebuttal is saying, no, I'm not necessarily wrong. Okay? But when I say that a she'ela, that's a first level definition of a she'ela and a kushya. Place of innocence, a place of ignorance, place of knowledge. But the truth is that it's not completely true. Because if the Gemara is asking a question, it can't be just like, a simple question and an answer, and then, okay, we're done. If it was that simple, you wouldn't need to ask the question. Okay? You're talking about people who are highly skilled and brilliant, legal minds. So when they ask a question of a place of ignorance, yes, they don't know exactly what you're talking about, but they're getting ready. Usually, when they ask a question, they're getting ready to pounce. Meaning, it's like it would be like saying
the witness.
What?
Leading the witness.
Yes, it is. Meaning you come late to my class. Remember where I was 5 hours ago. Okay, so a student comes late to my class, and I'm asking them a question. Why are you late? Okay, I actually don't know why they're late. I am asking it from a place of ignorance. Okay, but unless he tells me that, I don't know, he was giving CPR to a fellow student, or here I have a note from the doctor. The moment he answers, whatever he answers, I couldn't find my book, I was in the washroom, I forgot what classroom I'm in.
You're a high school teacher.
What? I'm ready. As I'm asking the question, waiting for his answer, I don't know what the answer is. I really don't know. I'm missing information here. But the moment he answers, I'm going to pounce on him. Well, metaphorically speaking. Don't worry, all those of you who have kids currently, metaphorically speaking, right? I'm saying, you couldn't find your book. Well, you should have, you were in the washroom. You should have gone earlier. Why didn't you go earlier? Or that's an unacceptable excuse. Please go to Rabbi Spitz to get a note. Whatever. Okay. So even though a question is being asked, this question is being answered, and we'll see when we get into the content. It is happy with the answer, but it's using that as material to continue on. Because a question is never just going to be a question, answer, goodbye. If it was that simple, I wouldn't have asked the question. I would just known it on my own. Usually because I want more information, so I can do something with that information. So I have better clarity on what you originally said, and now I can do something with that. Conclude something from it, discuss it, argue with it. Okay? So, next stage. So we have our Meimra, and what comes after the Heicha? Ivory, what's after the heicha? What's the next function word?
It's dichtiv.
Dichtiv, very good. Which is what? What is dichtiv?
Shaila. Shaila.
A she'ela.
It's a shova. It's a raya. Or a raya.
What? It's a raya. Very good. Because remember, 9 out of 10 times, dichtiv is going to be as it says. Now, here we're going to put a raya.
Is it a different dichtiv to the second dichtiv, that it doesn't serve the same kind of purpose?
Well, you tell me. Look at the relationship between these stages. Question, answer / raya, statement, followed by a raya.
Okay, so it's
Does this sequence make sense?
Yeah.
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 I made a statement, and I made it, that at least at the moment seems not directly related. I made a statement, I want to prove it. Okay? Yeah, makes perfect sense. Okay, next stage, next function word?
Minalan.
What? Minalan. Wait, did we miss something?
Did I miss something? There's also this one?
Heicha.
Oh, that's right.
Right? They have the same thing. Heicha, again, is what? It's going to be a memra. Next word? Dichtiv. You see a very simple, repetitive structure here. Which is what?
Yeah.
Another area. Next. Okay. Just a second. Minalan, which is what?
Sheila.
Very good. You see that the sugya is very simple. Just flows. Next. Dichtiv. Which we know already. It's going to be a tshuva raya, right? Same exact structure, right?
Where are we?
We are.
Because it's.
We've run through it. We are.
The second
Just a
wide
second.
line, the second word.
Yeah.
Second wide line.
Second wide line. You see, it says menalan. Then it says dichtiv. Second wide line. So that's going to be right. Same kind of thing. A tshuva raya. A tshuva using a phrasing of the raya. Okay. And the next one. Another menalan. Which is what? We all know already. There's a she'ela. Next. Tana, very good.
But it follows straight after.
What?
It follows straight after.
What? Right. Because over there it just happens to be yada 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 from where. You can either say from where do we know 1, 2, 3. You can say 1, 2, 3 from where.
Oh.
It's just playing around with it, trying to mess around with us, a little bit. Okay. So Tana, what would be this? This Tana is obviously going to be a quote, but what is its function?
Raya.
What?
Raya.
A raya. Why would a raya follow a she'ela? Why would a proof? Remember, a proof is coming to support something that we already that is being presented to us as final. But again, think about it logically. When do I need to prove something to you? When I've said something, I need to back something up. I don't need to back up a question. A question is just saying, there's something I don't know, please help me. Why would I have to prove why would I have to prove it?
It has to be a tshuva.
So it'd be a tshuva. Yeah. Sorry that I'll move the standard in a second. And then what do we have? And then, right, we have a dichtiv. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to figure out my writing here. Dichtiv, which is going to be what?
Memra, probably.
What?
A memra,
A
probably.
memra. Dichtiv is as it says. The phrase dichtiv means as it says. So what is
Following a tshuva.
following a tshuva? After I've given you an answer, yeah, I've given you an answer, and it makes sense that I would, sometimes have the need to prove to you that my answer is correct. It's like, for instance, why are you late for class? I was at the doctor. and here's my note from the doctor. That's a proof to prove your answer. Okay?
Rabbi Spitz,
Yeah.
can you not go back even to the first few of those question and answers and then say
Where?
even the first one when there's a first tangent that's saying
The Heicha?
Le'eka Dilom
Yeah.
so that's the question from where.
No, it's not a question.
So that's a memra.
Yeah.
And then the answer, okay, no, I was thinking.
And then it's not a question.
Okay.
It's a statement,
It's a statement.
followed by a proof.
Yeah.
Because someone made a statement, and then he's going to prove that his statement is correct.
Yeah.
I'm making a claim, and I'm going to back it up.
Okay.
Okay? So we have a dichtiv, which is a ra'aya, which is a proof, right? And followed by what? Another dichtiv. So does this make sense?
No.
Right. Having a proof right after proof doesn't make sense. So this one, we're going to have to wait till we get to the very end of the sugya to understand. It's actually a lot simpler, but it cannot be understood. It doesn't make sense to have a double raya.
It's like saying, and here's a note from my doctor, and here's proof that it was my doctor who wrote this, not me. A certified copy.
Remember that example. That is exactly what's happening here. It's like, here's a note from my doctor, and here's the guy's essay, which will prove to you that the handwriting and the signature is really him. That is exactly what's happening here. It's saying it's part of the same proof. You're right. These two proofs are not two separate proofs. But based on the knowledge we have so far, there'd be no way for us to know that. But you're right. To logically come and say, there's two possibilities. Either we've missed something between the first raya and the second raya. Okay, we've missed a function word, that's how we figured out the heicha. Or it's really not two separate proofs, it's actually one proof. Which one of those is it? We'll see at the end, but Lawrence is right, that's what it's going to be. But it could have easily have been also, we missed something. Okay, so if you wanted to be, I could say to you guys, theoretically, I would say, okay, everyone go back and look, see, did we possibly miss something? And then maybe we'll try to look for something that's not there. Maybe we will find, maybe we'll say, no, there's nothing here. There's absolutely nothing here. They would say, well, if there's absolutely no possibility of another stage here, must be one long raya. Okay. Okay, so let's look at the. Let me just see how we're doing with time. Okay, we're basically done. So just look at the sequence that we have here. It makes sense. We have a question followed by an answer, a statement followed by a proof, a statement followed by another proof. So it means we have a whole bunch of separate units here. That's what we have here, basically. Okay, basically what we have here is we have. This is next week. We'll work on the flow chart, but basically we can already see the direction it's going. Question, answer, and this is not based on this. This is a statement. Okay? That's also, okay? These are two stages, but these are connected, but then it stops. Again, they're the same topic, but they're not built on each other. This is not questioning this. This is not attacking this. It's just, we're in the same topic. I have another detail to tell you, and I'm going to prove to you this detail. And then again, I have another detail in this topic to tell you, and I'm going to prove it to you. Okay? And then we have a question. It's not an attack. It's a question. Okay? So I will tell you already now, this is where the two stages of the sugya separate. Okay? Remember we said we're going to have two stages of the sugya. There's two things we need to figure out here. What's the first thing we're looking to figure out in the sugya? Which is what?
That it's only the father's obligation.
No, that it's the father's obligation to do it. And the second stage is going to be that it is not the mother's. When you say it's only the father's, it's both questions. So one, how do I even know a father has to do a Brit Milah? Okay? And now that you've answered that, at some point I'm also going to want you to prove to me that from the Torah or from somewhere that a woman does not. So I'll tell you already now that this is where it splits. Okay? But and then again, look at the structure. You have the exact same structure. A question followed by an answer. Okay? And a question, and then question, followed by an answer with a proof. Okay?
Sugya is so civilized.
It is a
No one's
very.
attacking anybody.
This is a straightforward. It's rare.
Nice.
It's rare. It's so nice. It's so peaceful. Okay. We will see though in this sugya, which it won't take us long to do because it's very simple. There's no twists. But we will see that it will get into. We will have a chance to see Tosfot, which is one of the classic commentators, and over there it's going to get all. That's going to be in the second level. In the last sugya, we did very little, if any, second level thinking. In this one, there's going to be a lot of that, understanding exactly, this idea that a woman is not obligated to give a brit milah to her son. It's going to get a little loopy. Okay. It's going to open up a whole new topic, which is really, really interesting, about which mitzvot women in general are obligated and not obligated in, and understanding what the. Okay, Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach.